Hi there, I'm Christina from hairromance.com, and today let's chat all about hair loss, and especially around COVID related hair loss, because it's something I'm hearing more and more about. And I tried to make this video actually while it was peak pandemic times, but really wanted to see if we could get some more actual science out behind it, because I've been hearing so much anecdotal evidence, but starting to be a little bit of science coming out to show that hair loss is a side effect of COVID. But it's a little bit more complicated than that. So if you've been Googling COVID hair loss, you might have come across the term telogen effluvium. I think that's how you pronounce it. But basically, the telogen is the phase just before anagen, which is when your hair falls. And basically what the term telogen effluvium means is excessive hair shedding. And this is really normal. This can happen for lots of reasons, mostly to do with physical or emotional stress, and that's from health conditions, actual trauma, and lots of other things. But the nice thing to remember is that this isn't a scarring kind of hair shedding. It's not a permanent hair shedding. It is just a temporary one, and it does reverse itself, usually all by itself. So I really want to reassure you that if you've been Googling this and worried that your hair isn't going to grow back, if it is a telogen effluvium situation, it will grow back, and it just takes some time. And I don't mean to say time like, oh, just wait, but truly time is what it takes. And when you're losing hair that is a significant length, hair grows approximately 1 to 2 centimeters a month, mostly 1 centimeter a month is normal. Growing an inch a month would be considered high hair growth. So that's a long time to get your hair back to, say, a shoulder length. And it really takes a long time, especially for that beginning phases, just to see that regrowth coming back. So it can feel like nothing's happening for a really long time, even though your hair is already growing back. And that's the most frustrating part about all kinds of hair loss. But I want to go through a few things to think about to try and determine if this has happened to you, how to determine it, and then next steps for you as well. Now, if it's happening to you, you probably already have a pretty good sense of it. And if it is related to a recent COVID diagnosis or long COVID or any other kind of chronic illness, that's pretty normal. But what I would recommend is that you go see your doctor, your local GP, make an appointment and just get some blood work done. Some of the tests I recommend checking, of course your doctor will be the expert, but I know with my situation, looking at your vitamin D levels, your vitamin B12 levels, and your iron levels and thyroid function are probably the most key areas of deficiencies that can really affect your hair growth. So I've mentioned this a few times here before, but I actually have suffered from hair loss, and I still do at times. And it's not very obvious because I'm very lucky to have a higher amount of hair to begin with, but I have a chronic thyroid condition called Hashimoto's, which means that I do tend to have more of a tendency to lose hair. And I know for me, I'll always spot it around the front because it's where I can see in the mirror. But hair loss usually happens quite evenly around your head, or it can happen in sort of temples, part, things like that, anywhere in crown, anywhere those sort of more, you'll notice it where the hair is denser, that when you start to lose it, you can see more of your scalp. So for me, I know definitely that checking your thyroid and making sure that that is at a normal function. But the other thing I also struggle with is I struggle with my iron levels, and I end up having iron infusions at least probably once or twice a year. I tried iron supplements and they didn't work for me. And the way I did that was with a test with my doctor. I took them for 4 months. We measured my levels again. There wasn't much of a change. And so then I went and had an iron infusion. And I think I've had 5 iron infusions now. And if it's something you're thinking about or your doctor's brought up with you, I can't highly recommend them enough because they really do push me into such a better energy feeling. I think you don't notice when your energy's going down. But your iron levels are really key to having healthy hair growth. But your hair really is the last at the table of your body to get these vitamins. So if your vitamin levels are anywhere below an optimum rate, that's when you'll start to notice it in your hair. So that's why you'll notice that your hair is probably one of the first signs that you see. And that's how I can tell that my thyroid is going out, because my hair will start to feel and look a little bit different. I'll be shedding a little bit more. Really getting these checked and having a bit of a plan with your doctor to kind of go through this is really key. But hopefully those questions to ask can help about what sort of tests to look for. But hair loss is something that's very common and doctors should be dealing with all the time, especially lately, because not only is COVID a stress on your body, but I mean, we've lived through a pandemic, for goodness sake. This whole crisis of the last few years has caused huge amounts of stress, whether you've actually been dealing with physical illnesses, long COVID, just general economic stress. All of these things are going to mean that your hair is the last thing to get any of that reserves of your body, and it's probably going to show the signs of that through hair loss, hair quality, things like that. And that is what you really need to notice, and it's something that's probably easier for us to notice, and rather than an internal process, it's something external that we can see. Now, when it comes to hair loss cures and serums and potions, I get pitched them all the time, and I never promote them because I really just don't see enough science behind them. There's a couple of products that I do think actually work, and one of them is a minoxidil product, which is like in your nioxins and others, it's more like that, medicated, actual ones that are proven to grow your hair back. But all the others, I really just don't think there's enough research behind them. So, and because things like this sort of hair shedding is reversible naturally, any of these extra products really aren't going to make any difference to your hair. People who use them and say they make a difference, probably the biggest difference is that you're in a careful, regular routine. And that's probably going to be the most important thing. You don't need to go out and buy a super expensive shampoo unless you're using a minoxidil-based product that's going to then help boost your hair growth and keep it in that growing phase for longer. Otherwise, everything of those sort of topical products aren't really making that big a difference to your hair loss. Not enough that I think they're worth to promote. But what is going to make a difference is just making sure that your internal health is well. And that's something between you and your doctor. Definitely get some tests. And there are other things you can do with your diet just to make sure that you're having a higher protein diet, and also making sure that you're getting a good range of vitamins within your diet, and also trying to reduce any kind of stress that you can in your life, because if your life is still stressful, your hair is not going to recover until you can kind of get some of that stress under a sort of level place. And that's so much easier said than done, which is why I think we all fall to these potions to try and cure it instead, when really it's just going to be time and environmental management that's going to make a bigger impact on your hair. The one thing you can do to really boost your hair that is free is a head massage. And that's often why there are some hair oils and things like that people have amazing results from, but the biggest thing that's making the difference is just that they're giving themselves a head massage. Something I've gone on about for a long time, just actually getting in and giving yourself a gentle head massage, just using your fingertips. Don't scratch your scalp, just very, very gently massaging it. You can even do it just before you go to bed for a couple of minutes a night. And boosting the blood flow to your hair follicles is just going to try and encourage more blood flow, more attention to your scalp, which is really the key. Any of those hair oils, the biggest thing they're doing is promoting you to do a head massage. And if that's a way that you can remember to do your head massage, fantastic. But you don't need the oil to do a head massage. You can just do it directly, gently with your fingertips on your scalp. So in the studies I've been reading, there does appear to be true links between COVID and hair loss. But I think most of the hair loss is truly associated with what we know to be true for trauma, illness, any kind of interruption in the body's optimum health always shows in your hair. That's something that you can happen whether it's COVID, whether it's any other kind of serious illness or serious stress in your life. It is going to show in your hair, but it's probably already reversing. That first stressor, it can sometimes take 2 to 6 months for your hair to shed and then fully complete shedding, and then your hair will go back into its growth phase. And then of course, counting out 1 centimetre a month, that's how long it's going to take for your hair to get back to match the rest of the length of your hair. So you can kind of give yourself a little bit of a timeline and know that it's not going to happen in 3 months, not going to happen in 6 months, more likely to be 1 to 2 years. And then you'll feel that that is completely recovered and it'll be a distant memory for you. But in the meantime, make sure that you're looking after your health, chat to your doctor about where your health levels are, eating a higher protein diet, and giving yourself regular head massages. It's going to be the most important thing you can do to help relax at the end of the day, and the best thing you'll do for your hair and scalp health. Now, I'd love to be able to answer your questions, so please let me know in the comments below, or you can message me on social media. I'm at hairomance, and also over on hairomance.com you can ask questions over there or email me, because I want to be able to do another video where I can answer more of your questions and really talk about specifics for you. Hopefully even speak to get another expert in to answer some of your questions about this. But I want you to know that this kind of hair loss is totally reversible, just takes time, and you will get there. And I'd like to be able to help you get through that process and manage your hair and styles all the way through that. Of course, as I said, hit me with any questions and let me know what else you'd like me to talk about here over on Hair Romance. Have fun with your hair, and I'll chat to you again soon. Bye.